El Rancho de los Golondrinas is a living history museum located on 200 acres in a rural farming valley just south of Santa Fe. And the museum showcases New Mexico history and heritage and culture. And this weekend is the Harvest Festival and one of many special events offered at Las Golondrinas. Leroy Romero joins us today to share the details. Good morning, Leroy.
Good morning, Vicky. Good
so
to meet you.
good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, a very special place. And we want to talk first about the original colonial buildings because they are on the site that date back all the way to the 1700s.
Exactly.
Long time ago. So what is the historical significance?
Well, Golondrinas is actually, it was one of the purposes of it is it was a royal purchase from the King of Spain in the 1700s.
Okay.
And it actually dates back to 1710.
Wow.
In fact, our acequia system dates back, is one of the most dated back systems in New Mexico.
Really?
Actually, Golondrinas is a paraje, which is a resting spot. It was the last resting spot, or the Motel 6, before they got into Santa Fe.
Okay.
It took 6 months for the people to come from Mexico City into Santa Fe, and it was 1 day's horse ride before you got to Santa Fe.
Hard to believe, isn't it, these days when you look back? Well, why is it called El Rancho de las Golondrinas?
Well, a golondrinas is a swallow.
Okay.
So there were a lot of migrating swallows at that time, and the swallows would actually make their huts on some of the buildings once the buildings were established there. In fact, you can still see a lot of swallows on school buildings in Santa Fe.
Really, to this day?
Today, yes.
Well, now, what is, okay, let me ask you this. The term that we say, living history museum, what does it actually mean?
Well, we emulate and simulate Spanish colonial life between 1710 and roughly around 1880, early 1900, right around the end of the New Mexico territorial era.
So basically what you're saying is it lives on. Everything that we had back then lives on now.
The old ways that we used to do it, you know, the way we farm, the way we make things, our cooking, in areas we still cook with wood fires and things of that nature, yes.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I mean, you can take a look, of course, at the video on the screen right now. What are we looking at right here?
This is the procession of San Isidro during the Mass.
Okay.
For the Harvest Festival, we'll be having a Mass on Sunday morning where we actually take San Isidro from the oratorio back into the capilla, where he will rest for the winter time. And then in the spring festival, again, we'll take San Isidro from the capilla back to the oratorio where he overlooks the ranch. San Isidro is the patron saint of farmers and land deals.
Wow, so much symbolism, so much history, and there's so much uniqueness in the museum as well. Can you tell us some of the unique elements in the museum itself?
Well, it's all unique to New Mexico. One of the favorite spots is our grist mill, our large grist mill, which runs flour. We make the flour there. There's always something going on at Golondrinas. For this particular Harvest Festival, the families and the kids can come out and they can stomp grapes in our winemaking
like Lucy.
Exactly like Lucy. Or the children, they can come out and they can make tortillas on the hornos.
Oh, what a great thing that is. And it's great because all the families can teach the history to their children.
Exactly. One of the most, one thing that really comes to mind is that I remember one time I was making chicharrones, and somebody came and says, gosh, I haven't had chicharrones since I was a kid. So they get the chicharrones, the fresh roasted green chili that we just took from the field, and they make their tortilla and they make a chicharron burrito right there and eat it, and I just watch them just salivate over the flavors of New Mexico.
That's so beautiful. I love that story. I mean, and it's so much sense memory because it takes people, like you said, it takes somebody back to their family and their childhood, and now they can instill that enriched culture in their own children.
Exactly.
It's so beautiful. I love it.
Yes, we have to bring back, oral history is very important to New Mexico.
For sure.
And if we don't keep that alive, it will get lost. So that's one of the significance about Golondrinas is that we're an educational facility to provide education to everybody about what life used to be like.
It's fantastic. And a lot of people are going to want to head out and of course go. So tell me first what we can expect as far as costs.
Well, for the festival, it's $8 for adults.
Okay.
Children 13 to 13 to 18, and seniors are $5, and
Okay.
children that are free.
Oh,
and
that's
there's
great.
tons of things for kids to do. They can make retablos. They got tin workshops. They can go and make like I said, tortillas.
Yes,
By
that
hand,
sounds
hace a
fun.
mano en comal, right there.
Oh, right there,
Right.
right on site. And is the museum open during the whole winter as well?
No, we
Okay.
close for the season in November.
Okay.
But we do provide the museum for special events and things of that nature.
Fabulous.
There's a lot of films have been made there.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can't. Like I always say, you know, when I moved here, I always say you can't buy a set. You can't build a set
No.
that looks like the history and the architecture and everything else that we have right here in New Mexico at our own hands and at our own disposal.
That's right, and it's
really
so
can't.
close. It's so close to us.
It is. Well, let's tell all our viewers exactly where they can find you.
Okay, we're approximately 50 miles south of Santa Fe. We're at 334 Los Pinos Road in Santa Fe, New Mexico, New Mexico. And you can always find us at golondrinas.org.
Fantastic. Leroy, thank you so much. It was
Thank
so
you.
good to meet you.
It's good to be here.
And I think it's a wonderful thing that you're doing.
One
keeping
last
it
thing is,
alive.
I remember when I was a balloon pilot.
Yes.
We would go flying in the morning, get up, fly in Albuquerque at 10 o'clock. We were down, then we'd go to Golondrinas in the afternoons.
Perfect thing to do after you see the
Exactly.
balloons during Balloon Fiesta. I'll
Exactly.
remind everybody all week next week. Thank you, Leroy.
Thank you.
Appreciate